Okay. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. If you're still out there, thank you so much for being here. Oh my goodness, it's Clarity Conversations presents San Francisco Reparations Unlocked. Thank you so much. This is Alicia Mayo in the background joining you. I've got some music courtesy of our very own Brian Collier. He is the former drummer for Confunction, and he's an absolute awesome artist from San Francisco, born and raised in Lakeview, and I could go on and on and on. Thank you, Brian Collier, for the original music here on Clarity Media. Alicia Mayo here in the background. I'm finally on, CPP time, colored people time, or CPT time, or whatever they call it. Yeah, I'm on that time tonight because so much has happened since we had our Board of Supervisors meeting to present the report number 1 of the African American Reparations Advisory Committee's report that they presented to the Board of Supervisors. It was an awesome day on Tuesday afternoon. You had to be there, but I'm here to tell you guys about it and how it went, okay? So thank you for joining me here. Again, this is Alicia Mayo, founder and CEO of Clarity Media, welcoming all of you to tonight's episode of Clarity Conversations, brought to you by the Dreamkeeper Diary and the Dreamkeeper Initiative. I am an honored cohort of the Storytelling and Narrative Shift cohort for the Dreamkeeper Initiative, one of the only media cohorts in the cohort, official media cohort. Rest are social media and filmmaker Kevin Epps, Both Sides of the Conversation, John Henry, and me. And Claire, Citizen Film, doing documentaries as well. So I'm a little late tonight. Typically, I would have been on at 5 p.m. and then I changed the time to 8 p.m. because a lot has taken place, and we've got a lot to share tonight. I know a lot of you are up, and if you missed this, you can watch this again. You can see it at a later date. I will play it again at a later date. This will be a rerun at some point. But for those of you who are joining me live, you're lucky. You get all of this live information right now. Okay. All right. So let me come on the camera here. Hello, everybody. It's Alicia. I am actually here, and I'm glad to be with you. I know it's late. It's just after 9 p.m. But okay, let's spend about an hour together. After an hour, I'm going to shut it down because I have actually read through all 58 pages of report number 1 that was presented to the Board of Supervisors on this past Tuesday. This report number 1 was put together and produced by the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. I'm so proud of them. And I just want to give a shout out to all of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee members. I'm not going to try and call you all by name because I don't want to forget anybody, but you know who you are. And I'd like to acknowledge everyone by acknowledging the chair of the committee, Mr. Eric McDonald, and Vice Chair Tanish Hollins. You all have done a fabulous job on this first report. Thank you to the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. Oh my God, we are making history. 365 days a year. And San Francisco, there's something about us in San Francisco. What is it? It's so much. My ancestors had something to do with it. Your ancestors had something to do with it. All of the hard work invested into making the city the great city that it is, that it once was, and that it will be, right? Our ancestors did it. Our people did it. And we absolutely must acknowledge them. We can't move forward unless we know where we've come from. Sankofa, okay? We got to know where we've come from. And I know a little bit, right? I don't know everything, but I know a little bit. I know that, I had a great uncle who helped build the Bay Bridge. I had my paternal grandfather, who poured concrete in the Transbay Tube so that BART could run through it and commerce could happen. And then I had grandparents on my maternal side who worked in the Jewish community at the Jewish Brotherhood Temple as the first African American kosher caterers at the Jewish Brotherhood Temple. Okay. All right. I'm proud of that. My daddy was an engineer for Motorola. Motorola, okay, in the early 80s. All right. And then he was an engineer for Southern Pacific Railway. And maybe that's why I am an engineer today. I do television, broadcast, radio, engineering. Okay, that's my thing. That's how I'm able to do what I'm doing here and put all of this together. I didn't have any help. Nobody taught me how to do this except myself. It's something that I do naturally, right? And so in the name of Clarity Media, Clary defines a bright, famous girl in Latin. That is the meaning. And the capital T of Clarity Media, capital T represents my technical side. And so that's who I am. Alicia Mayo, the founder of Clarity Media. Thanking all of you for being here on this last night of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee's report number 1 reading. I'm going to turn my music down now. I was excited. Partying with this music. Original music made just for me, right? Clarity Media by Mr. Collier of San Francisco. Thank you so much for the music. Yeah, and to Ash Jangda, who also played the guitar on this piece. Thank you so much for the original music, and welcome to all of you who are tuned in. It's 7 p.m. I'm sorry, 7 minutes after 9 p.m. Okay, I'm excited. I'm so excited by what happened this week. Oh my goodness. So the ARAC, the African American Reparations Advisory Committee of San Francisco, they presented report number 1 to the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco. And we were all there. Black folks were there to represent. Oh my goodness. Let me share some of the pictures here. Let's see. Did I download all the pictures? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me go and see if I can share screen. No, I don't want to do it that way. Okay, I know how to do it. Let's see. I'm going to include the pictures because I want you guys to see. If you weren't there and you weren't able to make it, I want you to see what you missed. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to include the pictures that I was able. Yeah, here they are. Okay. I'm going to include the pictures that I was able to take while sitting in the press section, in the press booth or the press box or whatever they call it at the Board of Supervisors. I had to laugh at myself because it was my first time sitting in the press section in the Board of Supervisors in that big, beautiful hall, right? And that big, beautiful room where history was being made on Tuesday. And yeah, I've been to San Francisco City Hall as a kid. I met then Supervisor George Moscone on the steps, along with Supervisor Dianne Feinstein. That was a long time ago. If you guys know the history, that was a long time ago. Yeah. So I met them on the steps of City Hall during a field trip with my class in the 4th grade. Okay. And for the first time, I was in that room where the San Francisco Board of Supervisors meets every time they have a meeting and they pass legislation or policy or make rules regarding Black life in San Francisco. I was in that room for the first time, and I was so excited and so honored to be there. Thanks to the Dreamkeeper Initiative, I had access to a historic meeting of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors on Tuesday. And it was so great to be there with more Black people from San Francisco who were also there to speak up. Maybe sometime some of them were there for the first time, maybe not, but they were there. They were there. We represented Black San Francisco so well, and I'm so proud. I'm so proud. It took me everything to keep the tears from falling because I wanted to make sure that I captured all of the moments in my pictures. And I did. I have a few pictures here to share. Let me see. I got to upload 6 more pictures. I'm doing that while I'm talking to you guys. So just bear with me here. I'm uploading all of the pictures. I'm going to start sharing them with you in just a second here. But I want you to get an idea of what it was like for a lot of us in San Francisco, Black San Franciscans who were finally able to speak up and speak to the board of supervisors about our feelings about reparations and why we feel we are owed reparations. And it's not, according to Fox News, it was a joke. It was something to laugh about. It was something to just not take seriously, right? To them, right? Because they're a bunch of haters. I will say that. Just because, and a few of them did admit that they tried to change their address so that maybe they would qualify. I'm going to share that clip on my Facebook stream or timeline so you can go and see it for yourself. The light-skinned brother, excuse me, I didn't say that. The brother on Fox News actually said that he tried to change his address real quick so that he would qualify for San Francisco reparations. Somehow or another, he wanted to find a way to make sure that he would qualify for San Francisco reparations. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is, I think for those people who are hating, or for anybody who wants to share hate speech or send threats to the committee members or to the chairs and to anybody who may in fact be eligible for reparations in San Francisco, don't be afraid. Just understand that they're haters. They want a piece of the pie. They want some of the action without the work, right? Well, and that's what they think we're doing. They think that we're trying to collect money without working for it. Well, somebody had to get me to where I am today. Who did the work? Who paid the price? Who sacrificed some things to come and deal with the racism and the discrimination and the injustices that have occurred in San Francisco? Who had to put up with all of that so that I could be in my own home, so that I could have the freedom of speech to speak with all of you tonight, to go to the board of supervisors and open that microphone and have my voice ring through the microphone to those supervisors who will be making decisions on my life and on behalf of my children. Who made it possible for things like that to happen? A lot of Black folks, a lot of Black folks who worked for little or no pay. A lot of Black African Americans who sacrificed their own lives until they died without ever tasting the sweet taste of absolute freedom, 100% freedom. You know, our ancestors who had to raise bees in order to collect the honey, where I now can walk into the store and buy a big old bottle of honey. I'm just trying to use some metaphors or some examples of how far we've come. We've come a long way, but we still have so much more work to do, because there's still division being created, still drama, fake news, and all of that being created. Even after we made history on Tuesday, people are trying to take away what we have gained, and they're trying to push us back. But we are pushing, we are still pushing, we're still fighting, and we're still progressing, moving forward in this effort, in this work to see reparations for not just ourselves, but for our children, for our Black neighbors, for the former neighbors that used to live in San Francisco, used to live next door or a couple of houses down. We are fighting for us as a whole group of Black San Franciscans, okay? And I've been involved in this by participating in the community meetings, the live and public, open to the public meetings that the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee has been holding. They've been holding meetings forever and ever, right? It's been 2 years of meetings to get feedback from the public on what, you think should happen. And they're willing to listen to everyone, not just San Franciscans. That's how much work they've been doing. And they have report number 2 being released in June to the public so that we can all read that report number 2. Now, I've been reading report number 1 to all of you guys for the past couple of weeks. You can go to Clarity Media on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and you can see those earlier recordings that I made by reading the report for you guys. Some of you guys have said to me, "Oh, Alicia, what's in the report?" I don't know what's in the report. I don't believe you guys can get reparations. I don't think you guys, are, approaching this the right way. Everybody had opinions and more questions. And then at the end of all the opinions and all of the questions, they wanted to know how they might qualify. Pitiful. Just pitiful. Let me take a sip on that because that's just pitiful. Okay. Pitiful. I'm getting a better understanding of all of those freedom fighters who, protested, who showed up at rallies, who did the work of making sure that civil rights were in the front of the news and in the front of people's minds, and voting rights and equal pay and equal employment opportunities and all the things that folks have fought for without the support of other folks or without the support of allies in our communities. For those of you who don't show up, yeah, many of you will reap the benefits. Many of you will be able to say, yes, I knew someone who went and did the work, and look at all that, that we have. You might not say that out loud. You might say that to yourself, but you need to be saying it out loud. You need to profess it, and you need to thank those who are doing the work. And I want to shout out Supervisor Shimon Walton. I want to shout out Mayor London Breed. I want to shout out Dr. Cheryl Evans Davis. I want to shout out Dr. Shirley Weber, Secretary of State. I want to shout out Governor Gavin Newsom. I want to shout out the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, who promised that they would support reparations for Black San Francisco. I want to shout out all of the Black San Franciscans who showed up on Tuesday to speak up, to say a little something or a lot of something. I want to shout out everybody who's involved in supporting this, because we will make history and we will make a difference in the lives of people that deserve it. Black people deserve so much. We are loving, kind, considerate, hardworking, loyal, and dedicated people. And we've been loyal and dedicated and hardworking for this country, and we deserve to be paid for it all. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me quickly pull up some of the pictures here. Let me pull up some of the pictures here to show you, just to show you what was happening. Okay. So in this picture, you can see Black San Francisco, serious, the faces, and allies. You can see the white brother in the back. Okay. You can see the people who showed up to support Black San Francisco. And let me tell you, most of the speakers were in support of Black San Francisco. They lined up and we stayed for hours to speak, and we were heard. The Board of Supervisors heard us. They listened. They wanted to hear everything. They even shared their own personal experiences of receiving reparations, okay? In their own families, right? And they're not African Americans; they're German, German Holocaust survivors and grandchildren of survivors. And you can see the chair of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee and the vice chair. They're standing and speaking. Ms. Tanish Hollins is the vice chair. Mr. Eric McDonald is the chair there. And you can see all of Black San Francisco in the background, attentive, paying attention, listening carefully to everything that's being said and all that was being represented by the two chairs in report number 1 of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. And there in the background to the left, far left, you see our Honorable Supervisor Shimon Walton there, looking at some documents there, paying attention. Okay, now, I love this picture. I wanted to include this picture for sure because I see my Dr. Saida Leatutufu to the right there, to the far right in the black jacket. Look at that. Look at Dr. Sy giving that side eye. Look at Dr. Sy giving that side eye. No, I won't say that she was doing that. No, she wasn't doing that. Dr. Sy was attentively listening and paying attention to everything that supervisor was saying there. Supervisor Preston was making his point about how he supports the Reparations Advisory Committee's reports and how he supports what we are asking for. Okay, and there is the current president of the Board of Supervisor, Mr. Peskin, there to the left, and um, Supervisor Sefai, I think is how he pronounces his name. Anyway, yeah, these are just some of the pictures that I took as I was sitting in the press box in the Board of Supervisors chambers to witness history being made as the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee presented report number 1, all 59 or 59 or so, 60 pages of the report. I was honored to be there joining Black San Francisco and sitting next to one of the reporters from one of the local mainstream news agencies. I'm sitting there to her right. She's looking over her shoulder, wondering, like, who let her in? No, that's not. I'm just being silly. No, that's probably not what she was saying. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real here. That was not what she was saying. But I was seated next to the San Francisco Examiner, the San Francisco Chronicle reporters and photographers, and it was an honor to finally be sitting in that press box. Now, I will say that I have worked for KCBS, iHeartMedia, Cron 4 Television, KPIX, Westwood One, Metro Traffic Control, and I have never had the privilege of sitting in the media box at the Board of Supervisors. I've never really tried either. Okay, so it's never too late to get involved, folks. That's all I'm saying. Okay, all right. So now let's move on to something else. Okay, Alicia Mayo, welcoming all of you to tonight's just an update on the San Francisco Reparations Advisory Committee's report, the submission of the report, and the rally that took place on the steps of San Francisco City Hall. I didn't make the rally because the weather was so bad at the time. And I unfortunately have to drive about 50 miles. And so I missed the rally, but there are pictures online. I'm going to pull them up and get some pictures from my brother, John Henry, over at both sides of the conversation, or my brother, the filmmaker, Kevin Epps, or Ace on the Case. Yeah, wherever I can get the pictures from, I will be sure to share them with you. Of course, with permission from those other Black media outlets that I just mentioned. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for joining me. I'm a little late, but I want to read the last 2 pages of report number 1 so that you know what's in the report. And if you've missed any of my earlier presentations on the report, please go to Clarity Media online at YouTube or on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm all over the place. You can find Clarity Media. It's spelled CLARIT, capital T. Yeah, it's a play on the word clarity. Yeah. Whatever. I hear you talking about me. I hear you. I hear you talking about my name. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I don't mind because I'm very unique. I'm unique, and it's just, it's who I am. It's who I am. Okay, so thank you again for joining Clarity Media, Human Stories, Grassroots Solutions. Out of chaos always comes clarity. There's always another side. Always another side. Ask John Henry at both sides of the conversation. He'll let you know. But make sure you subscribe, follow, share Clarity Media along with both sides of the conversation, because we have some great information to share. And it's all coming to you from a Black lens, a Black perspective. Okay, so make sure you share our content. I'm promising to shout out the other Black media outlets because I want them to do the same for me. And I think it's the right thing to do so that we can progress unified and as a block, as a solid block. And also thinking about, the upcoming voting season that's coming up as well. So it's important for us to remember that the work is never done. There's always more work to do. If you'd like some information about this report, number one, that the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee that they put together, you'd like to get your hands on the report yourself and go page by page on a lazy Saturday afternoon, feel free to go to www.sfreparations.org, download the report yourself. Now, you're going to need some paper and you're going to need some ink in your cartridge, okay? So, because it's 60 pages, 60 pages. But if you don't want to do that, you can read the report online. It looks like this online. There are 60 pages. And if you don't want to read through all of it, which is, it's a lot, then you can go to Clarity Media on YouTube, go to my Facebook page, look for the live stream readings, because I'm actually reading the report. All you have to do is sit back and listen, okay? Okay, so let me fast forward now to page 57. I'm reading the last 2 pages of this report, and then I want to share Tuesday's agenda and what else happened on Tuesday. Okay, so here we go. Check it out. Listen now. We're at the top of page 57, and it continues. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Let me start off actually on page 56 so that you can understand the context. So at the bottom of 56, let me go back one page. Okay, we're at the second from the last paragraph. Though the plan, the reparations plan, though the plan had the political support of the current mayor and members of the Board of Supervisors, it still failed to retain Black San Francisco residents. The trend of out-migration continued from 2000 to 2010 to 2020 from 7.8% to 6.1%. Now we're talking about another report, an early report. There were other attempts. Let me put this into context because we are catching up from where we left off. So there were other reports made earlier, other attempts made years ago to recover what we've lost in San Francisco, to try and recover housing, to try and recover our money as employed city employees, to try and recover healthcare coverage and all the things that we have been misaligned with, or kept out of, or ignored, or passed over. We try to recover. We have been trying to recover for many, many, many years. And there have been a lot of folks who have represented us in San Francisco as Black politicians involved in legislation and policy and all that. And this report continues to talk about that from the beginning of the report until the end. And here on page 56, it is talking about an earlier effort to get the support of the mayor and the members of the prior Board of Supervisors, and it failed to retain the Black San Francisco residents. Okay, and so the trend of out-migration continued. People continued to move out to try and find a way to maintain their livelihoods within 50 to 100 miles, because I know a lot of people who have moved out as far as Patterson, Lodi, and Stockton, and Modesto, and Madera, and places, because that's all they could afford. But they still wanted to remain in proximity to their other family members, or they still had to manage to try and upkeep some properties that were left by parents or aunts or uncles, and share the properties and make arrangements. We had to do that. I had to do that. My own family had to do that, right? And so the out-migration continued from 2000 to 2010 to 2020. And the population of Black San Franciscans went from 7.8% between 2000 and 2020 to 6.1%, and then down to 5.7%. And now it's even lower. And in this study as well, the Black residents of The city played no significant role in the process to determine what recommendations should be made at that time when they were attempting to do it. So here we are again, just this past Tuesday, attempting to make the case that something needs to be done in the form of reparations, and it needs to be done now. Reparations now. Dreamkeeper initiative now. Support now. Okay. And the supervisors of San Francisco, they all heard those messages. And in essence, that was the message. Do something now. Do something immediately. And they agreed to. They agreed to. But will they actually do it? That has yet to be seen. We will see, because report number 2 will be released to the public and presented to the Board of Supervisors again sometime in June. Okay, so the second report that the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee will be released in June this year, June 2023. Okay, report number 2. And after that, that's it. The reports should move to Sacramento to the Secretary of State and to the governor. Hopefully, then they'll be ready to work with the attorneys and work with the legal aids and all of the folks who will then put together the legislation, who will put it in writing, okay, who will create and draft the bill or the legislation, along with the attorneys and the economists and all of those folks who are going to get together to figure out where the money's going to come from, right? And the report talks about where the money should come from. This report does talk about those sources. So that isn't something that mainstream media has not been able to recite or say, because apparently they have not read through the report. It was Fox, KTVU, or the National Fox Network that said that the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee has not stated where they expect to get the money from. No, it's in the report. I won't say that. It's in the report. Read the report. The report talks about the sources of income and the sources of funding, the sources of revenue, and where it should come from. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to just get an idea of where the money might come from. Former supervisor of San Francisco, Sophie Maxwell, had legislation passed that would mandate city corporations, private city corporations, to contribute to a fund that would support the Black community if they had something to do, or if their corporation had any history related to slavery. Okay, and that's in this report. Okay, I'm just summarizing what she asked for and what she had legislated. But those corporations like Bank of America, they have not made the contributions to that fund to this day. So now we're at the point where we are saying, do it. And we will pass more legislation to make sure you do it. You owe a debt. You have benefited from the labor of slaves, Black slaves. You have benefited from those people. J.P. Morgan Chase, Brooks Brothers, Bank of America, USA Bank. You have benefited. You owe the debt. You will pay the debt, not the taxpayer, not the average taxpayer, like Fox News is saying, and like some of my friends think. And I won't call any names. He said, I'm not paying for something that I had nothing to do with. And he's a Black man, and he's right. He should not have to pay for it. Or other folks, whether you're Black or not. If you have, if you did not have anything to do with it, then no, it won't be It won't come from you, but it will come from those sources that owe. So all of that is in the report. Read the report yourself. Okay, let me continue here. So the next report was issued in August of 2020 during a summer of civil unrest triggered by the murder of George Floyd. Millions of people across the world took to the streets. Yes, they did. They took to the streets to protest against the injustice of police brutality and systemic racism toward African Americans. And to address the structural inequity that exists within San Francisco, Mayor London Breed and Supervisor Shaman Walton announced that a portion of the budget from the San Francisco Police Department would be reallocated to support the African American community through a program now known as the Dream Keeper Initiative, DKI. Okay. And if you want to learn more about DKI, you can go to DKI go to DKI on Facebook and YouTube. Just look for the hashtag DKI, or you can visit the website. Okay, so let me pull up the website for Dreamkeeper. Okay, so visit www.dreamkeepersf.org for more information about the Dreamkeeper Initiative. And I'm an honored Dreamkeeper inaugural cohort. So when they created the Dreamkeeper Initiative, I became one of the first Black media outlets to benefit from the Dreamkeeper Initiative. Thank God for it. I am able to sit in the press box at the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. I am able to sit here and promote and share content related to Black people in San Francisco. I'm able to do this. I'm able to produce the Dreamkeeper Diary and Clarity Conversations. And I was able to quit working for mainstream media outlets that did not care about our stories or our voices or our perspectives or our culture. I could leave all of that and create a platform made just for us, people of color, Black people, San Francisco. So thank you to the Dreamkeeper Initiative. That's why you see the logos, right there. And so Supervisor Shaman Walton and the Mayor London Breed, they reallocated $122 million. They moved it from the San Francisco Police Department and asked the Black community, how would you like us to spend the money? Where should the money go? And they had listening sessions and open dialogue and conversations with us, us Black San Francisco community members, and asked us directly where we wanted the money to go, what we wanted to do with the money, and then, helped us to apply for the funding through grants and through RFPs and RFQs. And then they helped us with the technical side of writing those grants. They helped us to understand how to write a grant and what the requirements were for that. And the technical assistance and all of the capacity building and support that they gave me and about 199 others who were granted made it possible for us to elevate and to expand our businesses and realize some dreams that we've all had that could never be without the resources or without the support. And so thank you to Supervisor Shaman Walton and to Mayor London Breed and to the Director of the Human Rights Commission, Cheryl Evans Davis, and to Dr. Saida Leatutufu, who works there with Dr. Davis as the Assistant Director of the Human Rights Commission's Dreamkeeper Initiative, and to everyone working within the Dreamkeeper Initiative. Thank you so much for all of the support and all of the work to make sure that we continue the dreams and that the dream is not deferred and that the dreams come true for all of us, like it did on Tuesday night for me when I got a chance to sit in the press box at the Board of Supervisors. Okay, so let me continue to read. This Dreamkeeper initiative was announced at a time of reckoning where the nation was deeply fractured over its racial divide. In 2020, as the world endured the crisis of the COVID-19 pandemic, members of the Black community continued to endure harassment, abuse, and violence at the hands of police. The demand for justice and accountability after the deaths of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Elijah McClain, and more victims sparked all of this outrage and the protests and the movement and policy conversations to end the perpetual discrimination. The Dreamkeeper initiative was designed to repair the negative impact of racially disparate policies in San Francisco through the promotion of community-led change. Okay? That's what the Dreamkeeper initiative is all about. Community-led change. We can speak for ourselves. We know how we have been harmed. We can talk about it and prove it better than anyone else. And so we had to make the case for our hopes and dreams within the Dreamkeeper initiative. And so let me exit the slow layout here so that I can continue to share this page of the San Francisco Reparations, African American Reparations Advisory Committee, also known as ARAC, AARAC. Okay. We're on page 57. Let me make sure I'm okay, moving forward. And we are in the second paragraph. Okay. We're moving on to the third paragraph. Housed and facilitated by the Human Rights Commission, DKI began with community members sharing their ideas through virtual meetings and email commentary on what should receive focus in and what should receive funding in this reinvestment process. The investment of funds to support the Black community in San Francisco provides details regarding the existing research on the well-being of African Americans in San Francisco. There's also a description of the outreach and engagement effort and a comprehensive list of community recommendations, critical themes, and missing elements, also with a commitment to invest and a recommended timeline for the Dreamkeeper initiative. And so that began last year and it's continuing this year. And we are now in the budget season with the mayor and the board of supervisors and all of the budget folks, the folks involved in budgets with San Francisco. They're all working out the upcoming budget season that begins in June through June of next year. So hopefully, excuse me for smacking, sorry. So hopefully the Dreamkeeper initiative will continue to receive that kind of funding to continue to support the dreams of Black San Franciscans. And to me, and this is just my opinion, a lot of people say, no, the Dreamkeeper initiative is separate from reparations. And it is separate from reparations. It's two different things. Again, the Dreamkeeper initiative was an initiative that Supervisor Shaman Walton and Mayor London Breed, along with Director Cheryl Evans Davis, decided to reallocate money from the San Francisco Police Department and share it with the Black community of San Francisco. And so the meetings were held. We were asked how we wanted to use the money, how it will make a difference for us. And then we had to apply for the money. We had to meet some qualifications, rigorous qualifications and standards. And we have monthly reports that we have to submit as community-based organizations and nonprofit groups and all of the folks who were approved for the Dreamkeeper initiative grants and funding and resources. We have some strict mandates and qualifications and eligibility to meet every single month. Okay, so that's how detailed and how strict and how important this work is, because not only is it making a difference for me, my business, my family, and other families, but it's also making a difference for the future of Black San Francisco so that we can continue to be funded the right way and the way that the natural way, right? So while other folks are being funded for slow streets and, nice new fire hydrants and all of that, Black folks need services and support as well. And our our ideas and our feelings about support need to come from us. Nobody should be deciding for us. We should not be left out of the conversations either when it comes to creating budgets. And that has happened for years. And so finally, with the Dreamkeeper Initiative, we are being included. And, there are groups, some Black groups, Black led groups who are creating Black budgets that are being presented to the Board of Supervisors. That's how much work we're doing. We are doing the work, and I'm so proud of Black San Franciscans. Welcome to everyone tuning in. Thank you for joining me. I'm Alicia Mayo of Clarity Media, founder and CEO of Clarity Media. Glad you could be with me for this very last reading of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee's report number 1. I am on the last couple of pages here. Let me quickly go through it, and then I have some other information I would like to share with you, including the San Francisco Reparations rally and the meeting with the Board of Supervisors that happened this past Tuesday. Okay, so let's see. A major change in this brief compared the brief that was submitted. Let's see. In the the San Francisco description of the outreach and engagement effort and the comprehensive list of community recommendations given by the public, the critical themes and all the missing elements of the Dreamkeeper Initiative is all a part of this movement to move us forward. And it is on file, and you can go to the dreamkeepersf.org page to get more information about the recommendations and who qualified and who was granted and all of that. You can get all of that information there. And this paragraph goes on to say that there was a major change in the brief compared to the past reports in the inclusion of explicit funding and the timeline. And with these elements, the intention and action ability of this draft heavily outweighs the plans proposed in prior studies. So it's much more robust work that the Dreamkeeper Initiative is doing, along with the current Reparations Advisory Committee. So let me go. Let's see. Recommendations were paired with an actual dollar amount with the Dreamkeeper Initiative. And the shifting of the conversation went from the possibility to actual feasibility. And thank God for that. Unlike previous reports that sought to highlight well-being disparity for Black San Franciscans, this initiative goes further to disperse funding and financial support to organizations and programs recommended through community input. I'm honored to be a part of it. Thank you to the community, right? We did the work together, lifting each other up as we go. How amazing is that? Also combining the qualitative data of the lived experiences of the community along with quantitative data from past reports on the Black San Francisco population and the Human Rights Commission informing their recommendations as well. Between June 23rd and July 16th of 2020, the Human Rights Commission used social media, email comments, community sessions, and surveys to collect the input of over 600 participants during that Dreamkeeper Initiative listening sessions and research and gathering and report developments and all of that. And from the feedback received, over 400 recommendations were recorded and spread across 16 themes with an emphasis on the intersectional nature of the Black community. We are not a monolith, we are a megalith. That's it. So in order to ensure that funding was supported and held accountable for the Dreamkeeper Initiative, the Human Rights Commission established tools to use in the allocation process and use community input to reaffirm and edit their utilization. And these suggestions ranged from defining intended results and how the DKI funding should be allocated to fulfill the goals, to using data sheets to house logistics for government expenditures, and to create a citizen jury to make sure that organizations that receive funding are actually supporting the Black community. Since the program officially launched in 2021, it has supported over 90 organizations and has provided over $60 million in funding to Black-led and Black-serving organizations. Absolutely. Now we're on page 58. There is a direct shift from prior initiatives that sought to provide redress for the Black community and the Dreamkeeper Initiative. One of the factors that made the Dreamkeeper process possible was the mobilization of Black leadership within the San Francisco government. Thank God. Mayor London Breed, Supervisor Shimon Walton, and the Human Rights Commission Director Cheryl Davis all played significant roles in moving this program through the bureaucratic process. In tandem with the political support and state of race relations within America during the summer of 2020, the community played a direct role in demanding policy change and overseeing the process to build out what this program would look like. A common theme expressed within the community recommendation period was a feeling of distrust in public administration. Residents and community-based organizations voiced their frustration that the city and county of San Francisco and City College of San Francisco underfunds Black. Wait a minute. City and county, not City College. City and County of San Francisco underfunds Black organizations. They also undervalue the contributions of Black programs and creates policy that is out of touch with the needs of our communities. The Dreamkeeper Initiative created a new standard for support in communities of color and had ripple effects across the city. Other city leaders saw the work being done through the DKI program and were encouraged to establish ongoing funds for marginalized communities. Since the DKI was announced in 2020, millions of dollars have been set aside from the city's general fund to support infrastructure and anti-hate prevention programs within the Asian, Latinx, and Indigenous communities. The Dreamkeeper Initiative demonstrates that operating from an abundance mindset to redress harms does not necessitate competition across communities. Advancing the reparations plan would uplift multiple demographics through a process that catalogs historical harms and stimulates the economy and facilitates generational wealth amongst underserved populations across the board. This process is an active shift from the model of centralized power making decisions within limited community oversight. Black residents were able to contribute meaningfully to the conversation and determine how the Dreamkeeper Initiative would run. The direct line of communications between the city and county of San Francisco and the community, in turn, established a foundation of trust and increased the overall support and effectiveness of the program. Black-led and Black-serving institutions were prioritized in the funding process, and DKI is a promising blueprint for how we can build a more comprehensive and equitable system of reparations in the future. So it is a clear example of how we as Black people can do and benefit from support, from the payments, from the inclusion, from the accountability, from the justice that is served, from the positive attitudes, from the activity between groups and organizations and political groups and religious groups and communities, of the intersections, right? The positive results of DKI are a small example of what can happen in the future in so many ways, and not including with reparations, but also including with reparations. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. So now, thank you so much for listening to the last 3 pages of the report number 1, authored and produced by the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. I'm Alicia Mayo, the founder and CEO of Clarity Media. Glad to be able to bring to you that report number 1. It is a historic report. Okay? San Francisco is making history right now for what we are doing, for the work that we're doing to make sure that our people are supported and that we receive repair. Okay? We showed up. We have been doing the work. We have been listening. We have been speaking up. We have been recognizing each other. We have also demanded what we wanted. We have not been afraid to make our voices heard. We've not sat on our hands and twirled our fingers. We have gone to school and got the education. We have created our own businesses. We have supported the politicians in those seats at the Board of Supervisors. We have sent emails. We have made phone calls. We have been standing in line. We have been waiting our turns. We have done the work. We have done the work to uplift the legacies of our ancestors and our relatives, our grandparents and parents who worked and toiled and made this country and the city and the county of what it is. We have been doing the work. We have been honoring our ancestors. And we want to make sure that our children and our grandchildren, great grandchildren, see and benefit from all of the hard work. We deserve it. And we worked for it. It is due, it is owed to us. Yes, us, the descendants of slaves, the descendants of our grandparents who worked hard. Yes, we deserve it. We absolutely deserve it. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Alicia Mayo of Clarity Media. Thanking all of you for tuning into Clarity Conversations as I present the San Francisco Reparations Unlocked. What do we know about reparations? Have you read the report? Who qualifies? Any questions you've had? Hopefully I've been able to answer the questions by including the reading of the report. Okay. If you missed anything, just go to my YouTube channel and replay the live streams. Go to the live stream tab on YouTube and replay the live streams. If you're here with me on Facebook, just go to my Facebook timeline. Check it out. Check out all 6, now 7. This is the 7th recording. You can watch again. And if you're with me on Twitter, if you're with me on LinkedIn, all of the recordings are there. I'm making sure that I'm including all of the information there for you guys. Okay. So I'm going to take a quick little station identification break. I will include a little music from my dear friend Love Moore. He always inspires me every time I see his videos and his music, and I want to share a little bit of that inspiration with all of you. And then I will be back to share a little bit more about the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee's attempt to reach all of you. They want you to share the information and they want to engage with the community more. I have something on that to share and a little bit more just coming up right here on Clarity Media. Thank you again so much for tuning in.
If you'd like to be a guest or suggest show ideas, drop us an email or a direct message. We'd love to hear from you. Clarity Media, human stories, grassroots solutions. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. The Bay Area Mental Health Hour, Clarity Conversations, and We the People. Building trust for the first time. Out of chaos comes clarity. Clarity Media.
Rock with a few, drip lit like a spotlight. Just winning, media life spinning, media life spinning. Black people. Ice clean, Smith and Wesson beam. It's a media theme, clarity inspiring. Requirements never tiring. Laundry list you never miss. No wishing. Best media on display. Problem solved out the way. Magnitude, Godzilla. Selling more power than Jay Thriller. Getting backlash, cash stash so we can grow. Clear out on the air, you better go. Ancestors need us to be bold. Smart enough to live another day. Get it right. Solving problems quick without non-descendants up in our mix. Race soldiers getting help. Turning backs and watch and let you shoot. Clarity, bright, speaking truth. No help, have to help ourselves. Raise up if not for nothing else. T-technical, scientific, qualified. Always with it. Come through, rock with a few. Drip lit like a spotlight. Just winning, media life spinning. Media life spinning. Media life spinning. Just
Center here in historic West Edition Fillmore. So Booker T is the oldest Black-led and Black-serving organization in San Francisco. You are on sacred Black space right now. Today, Booker T hosted Step to Health, which was our Black Wellness Day, and we brought together some incredible wellness providers like Extreme Hip Hop with Phil, which is Step Hip Hop Aerobics. We brought in meditation and breathwork with the Johnny Project. We had our Alphas, the Genma chapter, which started here in 1947 here, doing a mental health and wellness workshop, blood pressure work, and yoga.
I'm Philip Wheaton, the creator of Extreme Hip Hop and Extreme Burn, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. What I want people to get out of my class is having a good time, enjoying themselves through music and fitness. I want people to not think about working out, but focus on working out. Just focus on, just keep moving, let the beat drive you, and coming to an awesome facility like this and knowing what the backstory is, this is truly a blessing for the community.
I loved it. The exercise is wonderful, and also you get to meet a lot of new people, like a wonderful sequence. In journalism, we got to sit down and clear our minds, and then in yoga, we got to stretch out and kind of detox, and then we got into high intensity time, which was perfect.
We did this because we want folks to be joyful, to be healthy, to be vibrant, and to connect with one another. And we wanted to make sure that we're supporting the overall holistic health, wellness. And when we say health, we mean mental health, physical health, spiritual health, cultural health here at Booker T. And we look forward to bringing more of these events to our community.
Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues surrounding your everyday coping skills and your mental health and wellness. And remember, your mental health matters as much as your physical health.
Pushing on the way to the sound of my own drum. I've learned I've gotta be a fan of my own rhythm. If you can't see the greatness in me, I don't know what you see. If you do not believe in me, I'm asking you to leave. You can't see what you've done to me. Yes, I disagree. There's way more to me. I'm leveling up and you've got to face it. Yeah, it's time you acknowledge all of my greatness. I gotta be aware of who I let in, cause some people mentality is limiting. If you can't see me as great, you focus on the flaws, and I've been showing the good and bad front of all of y'all. I gotta be aware of those that be writing them bad spells. The words used to speak on my life make heaven or hell. I was stuck, but now I'm up, leveling up, living it up, showing myself pushing on the way to the sound of my own drum. I've learned I've gotta be a fan of my own rhythm. If you can't see the greatness in me, I don't know what you see. If you do not believe in me, I'm asking you to leave. You can't see what you've done to me. Yes, I disagree. There's way more to me. I'm leveling up and you've got to face it. Yeah, it's time you acknowledge all of my greatness.
Hey, that's that young man. He's so talented, you guys. I want you to know about Love More because all of his music is about messages, important messages. And because he's a young brother, he's still spreading that love, that kind of energy that we were all raised with in San Francisco and across the Bay Area. I will just say it's just San Francisco. A lot of us were raised with that old-fashioned way of community and love and acknowledging each other and recognizing our greatness. That's what that song is about. That's what he's about as an artist. And that's why I support Love More here on Clarity Media. And I support you too, especially if you're here on with me. I see some comments in the comment section. Let me go to the comments and see who's actually here. Oh my goodness. Rico Hamilton, what's up, bruh? Thank you so much. Hello. Thank you for being here. Rico Hamilton is part of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. I'm honored to just be in his presence. I got a chance to talk with him at the rally on Tuesday, or after the rally on Tuesday in the halls of City Hall. And it was just an out-of-body experience for me because I see a lot of folks online, of course, because I spend a lot of time online presenting content like this, and I don't get a chance to see people in person. And so on Tuesday, I got a chance to see everybody in person. It was so real. It was like the best family reunion. It was so spiritual. It was so satisfying. I felt so good to be with Black folks again from San Francisco. Do you know how long it's been for a lot of us to be together as Black San Francisco? It's been a long time, and it almost makes me want. It just makes me want to. I'm emotional just thinking about it. It made me want to cry, but I didn't want to cry. It's because I want to have my vision clear, and I wanted to take in every moment that I was experiencing in the halls of San Francisco City Hall with Black San Franciscans who have, like I said, it was my first time inside the Board of Supervisors chambers in all 58 years of my life. How did that happen? How did that happen for a woman like me, educated, intelligent, worldly, sophisticated, progressive? You know, how was it that I was never involved in politics? How did that happen to me? And I have a love for writing and understanding people and understanding our world and our city and making sure that I'm being treated fairly and I'm getting respect. How come I never ended up in politics? And that's where I should be. Well, I finally got a chance to be there on Tuesday. It's never too late, you guys. It's never too late, and that goes for voting also, because that's coming up. My new season of Clarity Conversations and my new season of Clarity Media, along with the Bay Area Mental Health Hour. In the new season, I will be covering things like voting rights and your mental health and wellness and community events and community activities. I might not be at all of those community events and activities, but I will be covering as much as I can. I do have my editorial content that, I think is priority over another. And then maybe another Black media platform, like Both Sides of the Conversation with John Henry, he might be covering more community grassroots activities. I might approach things from more of a news perspective because that's how I was trained and that's what I understand, um, legislation and policy and just how it's going to make a long-term difference and change for us Black folks or people of color. And and then others like Kevin Epps, he's a filmmaker. He produces more long form content, film and documentaries. And so we have been able to get together as Black led media and do more work now with the help of the Dreamkeeper Initiative and with the help of Supervisor Shimon Walton and Director Cheryl Evans Davis and others who support Black businesses and Black media and folks like us, just average folks just trying to really live our best lives within San Francisco. And we all know that's been a challenge. That has been a real challenge. But we're here. We're still here. Like Rico Hamilton, he's still here. And Shug Smith, hi, Shug, hi. It's good to see you too on Tuesday. Shug Smith is still standing. Shugs of Daly City. Shug, she owned a spot, where we could go, a social spot where we could go and just enjoy ourselves and be safe. And Suge is still doing that, providing social events and a safe place to go where we can get together and be with our community. And thank you, Suge, for that. Hello to Dana McKean. Thank you, Dana, for watching. Thank you so much. And Bobby Smith from Jamaica. Hi, good night. Keep on carrying on the positive and strong message. We are one Black family. Absolutely. From Jamaica to the Bay. Hey, thank you so much. Suge also said, I enjoyed and learned from my presentation. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I was able to contribute something in some way or another to everyone out there who watched tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I just want to share really quickly and add to the slides here. Let me get Shook's comment. Okay, so the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee is about restoration and reparations. And reparations is not aid. They are making these statements, and so I'm just reading. Okay, follow along. Reparations is not aid. It is not a gift. It is compensation to correct the injustices of the past and restore equity. Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Brown. Wow, that's perfect timing, because I just referred to Bobby Smith of Jamaica, and this statement comes from the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Prime Minister Gaston Brown. Again, he says, reparations is not aid, it is not a gift, it is compensation to correct the injustices of the past and restore equity. In the trenches, community engagement for reparations, priority outreach questions identified by the African American Reparations Advisory Committee from December 2021 report. Includes what's the scope of and eligibility requirements for a citywide reparations program. You can find them in the report. Let me run the ticker here and include the website address for the San Francisco Reparations Advisory Committee's website, where you can access the report number 1, and you'll be able to access report number 2 that will be released in June. But for now, you have access to report number 1. You can find it there at www.sfreparations.org. And the Reparations Advisory Committee is submitting information here, and they're sharing information that I'm now sharing with all of you. And some of the outreach questions identified by the committee include: what are the means for dispersing reparations? It's in the report. How do you make whole those who have been wronged or who continue to suffer harm from historical wrongs? It's in the report. Those answers are in the report. How can reparations help close the wealth gap, the racial wealth gap? That's in the report. And how can reparations address ongoing discrimination? That is in the report. And anti-Black prejudice and entrenched socioeconomic inequities, that is also in the report, okay? Community engagement goals identified by ARAC. The committee is committed to getting input from Black San Franciscans across all neighborhoods, specifically District 5, Fillmore, Western Addition, District 6, the Tenderloin and South of Market, District 10, Bayview Hunters Point, and District 11, Lakeview, or OMI as they call it. And in addition to direct outreach, the committee would like to use community engagement as an opportunity to engage high school and college age students around reparations and Black San Francisco by creating a program for young people to learn how to develop, administer, and analyze surveys. It's all about the research. We need to do the research, and we want to get the young people involved in the research so that they understand where they're going and where they have come from. Absolutely. The methods of community outreach identified by ARAC: newspaper ads in local Black news outlets, op-eds or opinion editorials like mine, outdoor advertising, billboards, bus shelters. That's how they're trying to reach all of us. Also through newsletters, emails, social media posts, direct mailers, community rallies as permitted, virtual town halls, building relationships with community-based organizations and Black student unions. And of course, also by Clarity Media. Okay. All right. I'm doing my part. So when I read that last year, I realized that I needed to help. I needed to just step up and help the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. And so that's what I've done with my platform. I have really built this platform out so that I can include like the ticker information below with the website so that you could access a report. I've included pictures of activity that we're all involved in as a result of getting involved in the listening sessions and all of that, going to the meetings and all of that. Like I shared with you earlier, like this past Tuesday when the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee Chair and Vice Chair, Mr. Eric McDonald and Tanish Holland, spoke to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors on behalf of the Black community sitting there behind them. I built Clarity Media out so that I could provide all of this information and all of this content and to be a source of information and news for all of you. That's all I'm doing. I am fortunate enough to be supported by the Dreamkeeper Initiative. And without their support and without their help, I would still be doing this, but I wouldn't be doing it the way that I'm able to do it. But, by including all of this information and all of the resources. Okay. So thank you to the board. Not to the board, but thank you to the board, because they're going to continue to approve and say yes to the reparations demands. But thank you to the director of the Human Rights Commission, and thank you to Supervisor Shimon Walton, and to Dr. Saida Leatatufu, Cheryl Evans Davis, Shimon Walton, Mayor London Breed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the support for my media outlet, because once upon a time I was in a newsroom where they could care less about my story ideas. All they wanted me to focus on was their stories. And so I had to get up out of there, but I didn't know how I was going to make a living. I went to school for broadcast journalism. I studied this. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to write and write and write and have lots of stories and information to share, but I was I was muffled, and I was pushed aside, and I was ignored. And so I created my own, and now I have Clarity Media. And I thank all of you for supporting me. I don't want to get emotional, but this week has been a significant week for my media outlet, because I have been able to, I've been able to um, I've been endorsed by Supervisor Shimon Walton. He was the former president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors and the first African American man to hold the seat of president at the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco. And he gave me more than 2 hours to sit and ask him questions and to interview him about his work as the president of the Board of Supervisors and as a member of the Board of Supervisors who's making historic changes for us. He helped author the Karen Act. Look it up, the Karen Act that protects Black folks from being, uh, what's the word? Targeted or identified as problems for white folks. If a white woman gets on the phone and makes another fake phone call to the police about fake harassment by a Black person, no, she will now be held responsible and liable for that discrimination. Those individuals need to be held responsible. And Supervisor Shimon Walton helped author that legislation along with Assemblymember Haney. Thank you. Thank you for that work. And I'm so honored to be able to have a conversation with Supervisor Walton about his experience in politics and about his personal journey from street life to political life. You guys can see that interview that's coming up. I'm going to release the full interview this weekend. I'm working on it. I'm editing it right now. So look for that. Yeah, like it's coming up. But let me go back to the slides here. Okay, so let me remove myself. I'm so excited about so much. San Francisco is doing amazing things. We are doing some amazing things, and the whole world should know about it if they don't already know. Okay, and so the Reparations Advisory Committee continues to do the outreach to make sure that everybody knows what we're doing. And according to the 2020 census, African Americans living in San Francisco totaled 48,942. That's 5.6%. Okay. Once upon a time, it was at 14%. 14%. Okay. Almost 3 times that amount. Yeah. And I have memories of what it felt like, what it looked like, and what it smelled like, what it tastes like. It was completely different. It was completely different. By zip code, with corresponding districts, um, these are the breakdowns. This is the breakdown of percentages of Black people within these zip codes, okay? And in the 94124 zip code, Bayview Hunters Point, 94134, also part of the Bayview Hunters Point, 10%, 10%, 10%. Focus populations, I think, is 10%. I think those are the percentages within those zip codes, okay? So we are predominant in just 3 or 4 zip codes, and that is in part due to the to the redevelopment agency that, basically ran us up out of certain neighborhoods. Yeah, in the 70s. Yeah, ran us out of the neighborhoods and cornered us in just a few of those neighborhoods. And this is the result. This is the result. Okay. Fillmore Western Addition, Tenderloin, South of Market, Beatty, Hunters Point, Trail Hill, Sunnydale, Lakeview. All right, so let's see. Demographics to consider for specific input. Just as Black, just as involved individuals, youth, TAY, transitional age youth, students, any and all, seniors 65 plus and over, individuals with disability, LGBTQ plus individuals, families, individuals in specific neighborhoods, individuals in public housing, homeowners, entrepreneurs, faith-based institutions, community-based stakeholders, professionals in the workforce of city and county of San Francisco, and Black immigrant populations. Those are the demographics to keep in mind. Those are the demographics that the San Francisco African American Reparation Advisory Committee is keeping in mind. Those are the demographics that the Dreamkeeper Initiative is keeping in mind. Those are the demographics of the marginalized, ignored, forgotten, hushed, discriminated demographics. Unfortunately, yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, wrong slide. So, as a part of the community conversations, it included a lot of engagement, youth-focused engagement, subject matter conversations, online and electronic engagements through Zoom meetings, etc. And more community conversations, town hall meetings, live discussions, and they're continuing today, like here on Clarity Media, and with the listening sessions that are coming up. Let me see if I have a flyer for the listening sessions that are coming up. I don't have it here right now, but there are listening sessions coming up in different community organizations and communities that still have Black people who exist in San Francisco. Yes, there are a few of us left, in San Francisco. But thank you again to everyone for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of Clarity Media, Clarity Conversations. It's Alicia Mayo, thanking all of you for being here tonight. I am winding down to the last few minutes of this broadcast. But again, thank you for joining me. Whenever you see this post here on your Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or YouTube platforms, whenever you see this post, just know I've posted something. You need to watch it, or I'm going to post something and you need to watch it. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much again for your support. Let me take that off again. All right. It's Alicia Mayo. I'm going to say good night in just a few moments here, but let me go through my content. Oh, let me add this, and I will include this a little bit later, but this is a summary of all of the particular asks. This is what the San Francisco African American Reparation Advisory Committee has asked for in a nutshell. It is a summary of everything that they have asked for, okay? 100, I heard it's a 111 asks. 111 things on top of the $5 million. So this is to say that what the Fox News Network is reporting, where they're saying that we're not asking for education. They're saying we are not asking for health care coverage. They're saying we're not asking for like mental health counseling and therapy. No, we have asked for all of that. We know what we need. We know what we need. Let me put my hand down, okay? Because I was watching that Fox News report earlier, and you guys are going to see a lot of propaganda, a lot of rhetoric. But remember what I'm saying to you. Don't let it get you all worked up. And don't believe what they're saying. Get the information for yourself. Decide for yourself what is in this reparations report. I have read it like an audio book so that you don't have to read it yourself. All you have to do is turn on and let me go to it. I'm going to share one of my readings with you, but all you have to do is turn it on and listen. You don't have to do anything except sit back and listen. Just if you missed my earlier reading, I'm going to play another reading right here. Okay. All you have to do is listen. You don't have to do anything except listen. Okay. You hear me? Just listen to it. Just listen to it. That way you get the information about what is in the report. And you know for sure for yourself what's in the report. And so when you hear those Fox News reporters and those folks that they are paying to say a bunch of crazy stuff, when you hear them saying all that stuff, just remember what you know. Just remember what you know. And sometimes you can act. My mother used to tell me, ask them how they know. Ask the question, well, how do they know? Most of the time they're getting it from somebody else's mouth, right? But when you get it from hearsay, it's not a fact. Don't believe it until you get it from the source. Get it from the source. And so I decided to read the report that came from the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee. I'm getting my information from the source, from the chair, from the vice chair, from all of the committee members like Rico Hamilton, like Nicole Cunningham, like Professor James Taylor, like all of the rest of the committee members. I'm getting it from them. They wrote this report. I would rather read it and know it from them. Just like anything else, when you hear these reports about the NAACP said that Black people in San Francisco don't need 5 million. Whatever you hear, don't believe the hype. Do not believe it until you hear it from the person that they are claiming said it. Don't believe it. Do not believe it. Don't even worry yourself with it. Don't raise your blood pressure over it. Just make sure that you listen and get it from the horse's mouth yourself. It's 10:34 p.m. to be exact, and I'm done here. Okay, I'm done here making my presentation. I hope that you have gotten something from it. Okay, I need to take a break, a mental health break, and I'm going to relax a little bit. But I want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in tonight and for listening and getting educated and doing the great service to yourself and for your families to understand what San Francisco Reparations is all about, especially if you stand to benefit from San Francisco Reparations. You need to know how you are going to benefit. Okay. Of course, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me on Facebook or any of the platforms, the social media platforms. Just slide into my DM, ask me some questions. I'm happy to help and answer any questions. I do have some posts on my Facebook page that are currently asking or answering some questions that have been asked of me so far. So you can refer to those summaries as well. And for now, just sleep tight. Sleep with the angels. Pray to your ancestors and thank them for all that they have done for us. They have worked and shed blood, sweat, and tears on our behalf. They didn't want to, but they did. They made the sacrifices. They were the brave ones who stepped forward, who stood up, who spoke up, who made it possible for us to be together tonight to exchange this information. They made it possible for us to be together on Tuesday in those chambers at the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. Let's say our prayers tonight. Get down on your knees tonight and thank your ancestors. Thank God for the family that you were born to. We're not perfect, but we are a loving people. We nurture our families and our friends and our neighbors as we nurture ourselves in the same way. That's what we do as people, Black people of African descent. That's who we are, and I'm proud of that. But just know this, that we aren't people who lay down and accept injustice and discrimination. We are not that people. We are loving, but we are fighters. Yeah. So I'm honored to be who I am and to be with you tonight. And I will say good night for now. Thank you so much for joining me here on Clarity Media. Stay in contact with me because I have the exclusive interview with Supervisor Shaman Walton coming up. It's a one-on-one conversation where we get into the weeds of things and we talk candidly about his experience and the experience of others who have lived in has lived in Black San Francisco neighborhoods and who experienced all of what we have experienced as individuals. We get into it between the two of us, and so I want you to check out that interview. It's coming up. I'm tired. I'm going to say good night. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much.
Show your support for Black-owned media with a tax-deductible contribution today. And don't forget to visit Clarity Media's tech and swag store for gear and supplies. Thank you.
Tune in weekdays to the Bay Area Mental Health Hour on YouTube, Instagram, and on Facebook. You'll find us covering issues surrounding your everyday coping skills and your mental health and wellness. And remember, your mental health matters as much as your physical health.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm the founder of Taylor J Collection. We are a women's contemporary clothing brand located right here in Oakland, California. The journey of a woman comes with many changes, and that's why we are very intentional about all of our designs and collections. We make sure to provide elevated comfort, sustainability, versatility, and of course, style. If you're in the Bay Area, come by, say hi, and take some comfy pieces home to add to your closet. Shop with us online at taylorjcollection.com.
Black woman owned. Clarity Media.